I'm Delta Work, and it's time for Very Delta. Coco fucking Peru is here. But first, do you want to see me go off? Because I think you want to see me go off.
Oh. Mom!
Are you a lady like me? Introspective, beautiful. Oh, are you intellectual like me? Beguiled by a bargain? You like wild times? Oh, like me? Are you serving the community like me? Well, if you are, then you must be Very Delta. I'm Delta Work, and this is Very Delta, a luxury public access podcast and YouTube talk show where I look gorgeous, speak extemporaneously, and invite fascinating people to sit on the couch and get Very Delta. Very Delta is for the woman who knows that steamy makeout sessions don't have to ruin your lipstick. But first, let's get into some things that are very Delta. Let's talk about how to behave in a dressing room, specifically when you are an entertainer. From my perspective as a drag entertainer, I feel like there are rules that go across the board. I have been in every dressing space imaginable. I've been in beautiful dressing rooms with tons of lighting and a private bathroom and rolling racks and cheese platters and cookies and all of these different things. Room for wigs. I've been in those spaces. I also did a gig many years ago at a really, really cool venue, and it was in the middle of Colorado, and the dressing room was the ice room that was attached to an outside patio where it was raining. And in order to change in there, I had to close the door and it locked from the outside. So every time I wanted to get in and out of the dressing room, which there really wasn't a reason unless I was performing, I had to just use it as a holding area. I would have to knock on the door until somebody smoking would hear me knocking, and then they could open the door. This is a real situation. So I've been in every kind of dressing room, and I think there is a rule. I think there's a system of rules for all dressing rooms. First of all, no matter where you're going, you kind of need to know your place and how many entertainers are there. So you could show up to a place and they'll say, we've got 5 girls performing or 5 entertainers performing. Well, if there's 5 spots, you need to find out if you're the guest. As the guest performer, you need to find out which stations are already claimed and which one they would like for you to sit at. It is really not very cool behavior to show up to a dressing room and just kind of take over a spot, especially if you're a guest entertainer. I don't care if you're the headliner. I don't care if you're the person getting paid the most amount of money. If it is a shared space, you need to ask the person who brought you in, which is the space that you would like for me to get ready in. And you really need to mind your P's and Q's within that space. If you were to look in my suitcase, no matter where I go, I always have an extension cord, at least 20-foot extension cord, because these places may not provide you an outlet. Maybe you need a blow dryer. Maybe you need a makeup mirror. I don't know what it is specifically that you might need for electricity, but you have to bring your own extension cord. Even if you have it in a rider that says they're supposed to provide it, you have to provide it for yourself, because oftentimes these places will not acknowledge that they were supposed to do something like that. So, you have 2 options. You either just don't use power or you just don't do the gig. But if you have your own extension cord, there you go. I would also say this is like one of my number one tricks that I don't think a lot of people do, but I have a handful of friends that do. And that is take yourself to Walmart, Target, Dollar Tree, any one of these places, and buy yourself a door hook. And it basically is, maybe around so big, and it has a bracket that sits on the door so you can hang stuff on. Because you might be in a dressing space where you're crammed into a corner and you're like, well, I don't really have anywhere to put stuff. You can always hang stuff off of that. You can hang wigs off of it. You can hang a garment bag. You can have tote bags. Maybe this is a venue where you're getting tipped. You can open up a grocery bag, a reusable grocery bag, and your tips can go in there. A hook is amazing. I mean, I have 2 in my bag just in case. There's times where I won't use it for a month, and there's times that I will use it, for the entire month. Just depends on where I'm going to be. That is super, super important to have in your suitcase. I also feel like when you go into a dressing space, you kind of have to realize that as a guest performer, which is usually who this kind of storyline is going out to, is a guest performer in a space. Be aware of how much space you actually take up. Figuratively speaking, we like to say, like, don't be afraid to take up space. And that's very true. Don't be afraid to go places and make your voice heard, or don't apologize for your size. Like, these are important things. But when it comes to a dressing room, you really do have to be mindful of the amount of space you're taking up. If there's only, if there's 5 tables, you're going to have to contain yourself to the one table if there's 5 entertainers. Don't think that you can just put your wigs on another table, or you can put your shoes on that table. Like, you need to contain everything. And then if somebody says, oh, we're not using that table, you're welcome to put your things on it. That's an entirely different situation, a different storyline. But to make this assumption going into a place that you can have as much room as you want without asking, it's really kind of piggish. And like, it's really not the behavior that you want other people to see from you. I mean, unless you have no problem with people knowing that you're a pig and ill-mannered, by all means, go for it. And that would probably be your last booking there. Another thing that happens for me that I think is, I think it's questionable. And that is deciding when you need to blare music in a dressing room because that's how you get ready. Some people don't want to hear whatever music it is that you're playing. So when you make this assumption that I'm the first one here, so I set the tone for the music, like, that's a little bit selfish. So I think we should default to no music. And then maybe somebody goes, hey, does anyone want to hear some music? And you say, sure. And then everyone goes, I don't know, what sounds good? I don't know, maybe some 80s favorites, or I don't know, why don't you put on your thumbprint radio on Pandora and we can hear some of the songs that you always thumb up. It could be that storyline, or maybe we agree to skip it. I think when you go into a place, in addition to thinking about the space that you take up physically, you have to think of the space that you take up, with regards to sound, how loud you are. If you take a personal phone call and you've got it on speaker, another behavior, not just that speaker, but another behavior that is super, super, super important to really pay attention to is social media. A lot of people are in a dressing room and they're like, ooh, I look good. Let me get a picture of myself before I go on stage. And they want to take a picture because they're in good lighting and they get that. And then they post it and they don't realize the person behind them is pulling a piece of duct tape between their butt cheeks and they have no wig on. That is unacceptable. Like, we cannot be posting pictures like that just because you looked good. You can't go, oh, they don't mind. Oh, it's funny. You need to crop that, or you need to put a funny emoji over it or something, because it's really disrespectful to assume that everyone in the dressing room doesn't care if you post pictures of them, because people do. Sometimes people are in the dressing room and they're like, you know what? I need to go on Instagram Live. I do it all the time. I'm the person who loves to go on Instagram Live or TikTok Live in my dressing rooms. But I always peek my head around in the dressing room and I say, hey, is everyone comfortable with me going live on Instagram right now? And there are times where people will go, oh, you know what, can you give me 5 minutes because I'm going to change and I know I'm in direct view. Or there's sometimes people go, oh yeah, no tea, for a couple of reasons. Maybe they don't want people to see them without a wig on. Maybe they don't want people to see them before they do their number. Maybe they don't want their conversations broadcast like across the world. It's just, it's a thing. If you're consciously doing this, you need to consciously consider other people in the dressing room. Am I being too loud? Am I broadcasting somebody's butt cheeks? Am I taking up space where things that could go under the table are now sitting on top of somebody else's table and now they don't have any room? Please, for the love of God, if you're a go-go dancer or you are somebody that's coming in for, maybe you're one of the entertainers that's coming in to do a tip spot or whatever the case may be, please do not come up to an advertised paid entertainer station. Sit down and start using their makeup. It is so offensive, gross, and dismissive. Don't sit down and go, ooh, which perfume is this? Bitch, I need some of this. Don't do that. Keep your fucking hands to yourself. If you need to borrow something, there's nothing wrong with asking. Absolutely no problem. Nobody has an obligation to give you anything, even if they have it. But if you want to ask, I don't think there's a problem with that. I have no problem sharing. I love to let people use things if they need it, because there might be a time when I might need something. But I don't like people absconding with or running away with or telling somebody, oh yeah, I used Delta's hairspray here. You could use it too. And then everybody's passing it around. Nobody knows who it belongs to. The end of the night I pack and my hairspray's gone. If you want to use it, just ask me. Use as much of it as you want and then return it. It's so, so, so simple. Honestly, if you're in a dressing room that has a private bathroom and you need to drop a deuce, please take that deuce to another bathroom in the venue. This is just like shitting on a tour bus. Wait until everybody stops. Like, you can pee, you can do, you can pee. That's it. If this is an extreme emergency, we get it. But by and large, don't think like, oh, when I get to the dressing room, I'm going to drop a deuce so everybody chokes to death. Like, just have a little decorum about yourself. You know, everybody takes a crap. I get it. Everyone knows that. But if you're in a space that's that tight quarters and you know that there's another bathroom in the space, yeah, it's not as private, but, you know, that's your fault for fucking eating cheese when you know you're lactose intolerant. That's not my problem. Take that shit, no pun intended, to another bathroom. You know, I don't consider myself a prude. I really, really don't. I'm all for everybody having a good time, doing adult things with one another. I think that's great. But nobody is impressed when you come into a dressing room and you try to like give oral sex to someone. Like, if you're trying to suck off a go-go dancer, or you brought somebody in from the bar and you're like, ooh, look at us, we're dangerous. No, you're immature. That's not dangerous. Like, if you want to floss, let everybody know. If you want to floss, let everybody know the next day that that person paid for a hotel room for you to go have a good time in. Like, not in the dressing room where everybody's stuff is all laid out. Like, that behavior is definitely like 21 to 23-year-old behavior. It really, really is. I mean, everyone has probably done that kind of behavior or seen that kind of behavior and knows that, like, oh, come on. Like, that's really, I mean, my God, in a dressing room. And then I think a lot of the people that do it are like, did you see what I did? Did you see what I did? Can you believe I did that? Like, no, I cannot believe that you did that. I think it's really, really lascivious. I think it's really fucking low rent. I think it's really gross. I think if you want to hit it with somebody and you want to punch out to the car or you want to punch out to the hotel or whatever, but like doing that in the dressing room, it's a little bit degrading for yourself and for everyone around you. I think that is one of those behaviors that is just like, come on, isn't everybody grown? I mean, we are all grown. Another behavior that is really questionable in general is just bringing your strange friends that don't know anyone else in the room into the room to just sit there and play on their phone. When the space is limited and you bring a bunch of friends to come hang out, it's really disrespectful. The dressing room is a sanctuary. The dressing room is like the locker room for drag entertainers. People, again, are going to be booty butt naked. People have all the money they earned in a night just laid out. People have their cell phones with pertinent information. People have medication. People have valuable costumes, valuable laptops, all these different things. The keys to their car might be sitting there. And you bring these strangers into a dressing room who think like, oh, this is fun. When something goes missing, the people that we're looking at are the people that you brought in here that never introduced themselves to anyone. Those are the people. And those people by default have made you the one who's responsible because you brought your fucking lousy friends in here. Don't bring your friends in here, especially when no one knows them. Now, if you're somebody who works in the show and you're coming in to say hi, even though you're not there that night, that's different because you know the dolls. And because you're that girl, you're usually that girl that'll go, all right, I'm going to step out. I just wanted to come in and say hi. That's different. That's entirely different. But bringing strangers into a dressing room, whether or not they work somewhere else or you know them from X, Y, and Z, nah, We're not doing that. You're not bringing all these strangers in here. Not when my money's out. Not when I'm trying to put my tights on. Not when somebody over here is not feeling well. None of that. This is a sanctuary for those who are working. The best food I've ever had in a dressing room was in Spokane, Washington, at a place called the Globe Kitchen, like the Globe Bar, the Globe Bar and Kitchen. It was at the Globe in Spokane. My friend Jeremiah Keevy brought me out there, and they pulled out all the stops. The venue is gorgeous. They videotape the show like on shoulder cameras, high def. The dressing room is down in the basement, and the food was just spread out. We're talking sweets and cake pops and savories. It was all laid out. The restaurant, the Globe itself already has all these things available for their guests, but the food that they put out for the entertainers was absolutely beautiful. Jeremiah Keevy at the Globe in Spokane really pulled out all the stops. I mean, it felt luxurious. I mean, as the show's as you're getting ready for the show and you are like doing your makeup, and as the show's happening, you're not really eating it. But when it's over, you're like, okay, I'm ready to grub, because, you don't want stuff in your teeth and all of that. But it was available to us. Beautiful fruit. I mean, I just think it was gorgeous. I love the idea of a cake pop, but I feel like once you bite into a cake pop, it's like somebody already chewed a piece of cake and then just molded it onto a stick and then dipped it in fondant. Like, that's what I feel like it is. I know a lot more work goes into it, and I know no one has chewed it. I personally prefer to have my cake in a slice. If not a slice, a wedge. And if not a wedge, a pan full of cake. I want a lot of cake. I like cake more than I like pie. I love cake. I'm also like a person who, when I see something like a cake that has beautiful roses on it, and people are like, oh, it's too beautiful to eat. I don't think so. I think it is just beautiful enough to eat. And if you're cutting me a piece of cake at your party, you will want to make sure that I get a rose, because I want as much. I want a corner, and I want that corner to have the rose on it. I don't want that middle piece. Don't play with me. I want frosting. And as much as I love buttercream frosting, I'll eat whipped cream frosting. I'm cool with it. Like, I'm down with cake. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of food that people decorate to make it look beautiful because, your eyes are just as hungry as your stomach is. And so people think, oh, this is going to be so beautiful. It's going to taste so beautiful. That's not always the case. Sometimes people spend so much time decorating something that the insides are not great. You know what I mean? The other day I made a Dolly Parton banana cake, and I was in such a hurry, and I got so frustrated because the fucking things kept coming out of the mixer. I forgot to put the milk in the cake. So we baked it, and it came up just fine, and frosted it. It was just fine. And I was eating it, and it was like I thought I was going to choke to death, but I was eating through it because the flavor of the banana was so good, right? But there was something wrong with the consistency. It tasted like really cheap corn muffins, or like a cornbread muffin. It tasted like the awful cornbread that you get at Boston Market. Like, Boston Market, by and large, needed to be read for like a long time ago. Boston Market, a long time ago, needed to be read for their wretched cornbread. Like, their recipe is so wrong. Well, that was what this cake tasted like the other day. And it was beautiful. And and the frosting was nice. So I was trying to get through it, but it wasn't that beautiful. I was like, forget it. I forgot the milk. It was my fault. Do you want to see me take a break? Because I think you want to see me take a break.
Coming up, Coco Peru gets very Delta. That's the T.
Today's guest is the queen of the one-woman show, who changed our lives with her iconic club bathroom monologue in the 1999 gay comedy Trick. She's bitter, bothered, and beyond. Please welcome the gorgeous, the stunning, the legendary Coco Peru.
Thank you.
This is
the legendary. Did you hear that?
Well, and you know why? Because everybody every one of these kids always says, oh, so-and-so's legendary. Oh, this is legendary. Oh my gosh, this is legendary.
I know. It does
And
get
I'm
thrown around a lot.
And I'm like, really? Because, we are standing on a lot of shoulders out here. We are all standing on a lot of shoulders.
As am I. See,
Yeah.
I think Charles Busch is legendary.
Yeah.
Charles Pierce, those were my heroes.
Yeah. for
Waylon
sure.
Flowers with Madame the Puppet.
Yes. Yes.
Of course, your fans have no idea who I'm talking about, probably, right? But
I think a lot do, and
good.
I think what I love about being able to have a podcast or a talk show or however people are consuming it is that they get to hear these conversations and these voices and go, well, who is that?
and then they go Google.
They go Google it. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm thinking already about Trick because for many people it was their first exposure to seeing a drag queen, but not just a drag queen, somebody who would have the confidence to, pontificate, to say something of value in that format. I mean, that's so legendary to people. That's legendary, right? I mean, that's how I see it.
Well, thank you. And I had a great time doing that. It was a total accident how I made it into that film.
Oh, wow. Really?
And yeah, and so it was just, and I was able to, the writer gave me permission to rewrite his original piece.
Mhm.
So I added all that stuff in, like it's big, it's beautiful,
Wow.
and you're going to love it. It's something somebody actually said to me one night. And,
Wow.
some guy that followed me home.
Ooh.
And back when I was young and beautiful and didn't even know it. Oof.
Like he followed you home and it was a good thing. It wasn't like something frightening, right?
Oh, I wasn't frightened at all. It was New York City, and I had so much confidence back then that no, I was never spooked by that kind of stuff. I loved the attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. It never felt dangerous to me. It may have been, but it never felt dangerous. And he was young and beautiful. Nothing happened, unfortunately. And if I could go back in time, I would have dragged him up to my apartment.
That's how you met people, was like being at a bar and going, you called your friend the next day and you're like, remember the cowboy that was at the bar? I went home with him.
Exactly.
Right? Or do you know what BDSM is? I don't know, girl, but this guy's very into this and I'm going to find out more. That was how we connected.
Yes. I loved cruising back in the day. And there was a timing to it.
Mm-hmm.
There were beats to it when you turned back. And so I remember when I hit a certain age and I started to test it, and it was like, I realized cruising, it's disappearing.
Yeah.
Like the beats were just not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But
so weird.
It is weird, but things change and grow, and I had fun.
You did have fun. I mean, I think we still have fun. You are in my mind, the blueprint for what the concept of the one woman show. Like in my coming up in drag, I've always known you as the person who always does one woman shows. Like that's what you do. Like when you hear of like when people say P-Town or they say I'm on tour or this person is doing 6 dates. Like I always think of yourself. I think of Varla. I think of Bunny. I think of people that I know as the legends who were like, I've never felt those people like looked down on people who do weekly drag shows, but they're people that like yourself who have a lot to say. And so you just format it. What is the magic to that? How does somebody know that they can do that?
I went to school in college for theater.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was in school, they used to do these cabaret shows. And Jonathan Larson, who wrote Rent, was the musical director.
Oh, okay.
And they were always politically driven, but comedy. Mm-hmm. And that just appealed to me. And so when I graduated, and we also had to write a one-person show in college, and that also appealed to me. So it was all coming together. And then drag came into it because I wanted to be an activist, an AIDS activist. And I went to my first ACT UP meeting. I had the T-shirt, and I was so overwhelmed by the rage in that room. I was very young.
Right.
And these people there was a lot of infighting at that point, even within ACT UP. But to be in a room full of people that desperate, and I already have so much rage that I learned to suppress it in order to survive. or I learned how to channel it in ways that were appropriate.
Mhm.
And stepping into that room was so overwhelming to my young self
Right.
that I couldn't handle it. And I left that ACT meeting going, I know I'm never going back there. And I was devastated with myself, very disappointed. But I thought, how can I change the world?
Right.
I know that sounds pretentious, but that's the way I thought back then. And I thought, storytelling. Storytelling has the potential to change how people feel or what they might perceive you to be.
Right.
And so I started writing, and then I added the drag into it. And I just decided that I was going to embrace everything growing up in the Bronx that I had been told was wrong with me.
Mhm.
Even through college, being told to butch up by my teachers
Wow.
was so shaming. And so I thought, and the fact that I had a Bronx accent was another shameful thing in the worlds of theater. And so I just thought, I'm going to embrace it all.
Nice.
And when I made that decision, it was as if the gods or whatever, our ancestors, whatever, I felt this feminine energy pushing me,
Wow.
saying, you've made the right choice.
Wow.
And that was a very powerful. So I had lots of fears back then, but my goal was so much bigger than my fears for the first time in my life.
Wow.
And I just knew it was all going to work out. I just
you're
knew
here.
it.
Yeah.
And
Like doing it.
here I am with you.
How many like say shows do you think that you've written and also too maybe written and not performed or do they change? How does
They
that work?
change, and I've written quite a few shows, but and they're all autobiographical, and I try to keep them current and up to date, and they always have that little political through line through it, and the best thing is that having done it for 31 years, I've gotten all these years of responses from people that I did change some people's lives.
Yeah.
And that's like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. How do you, I mean, what's the formula? Like, say I wanted to write something, I wanted to write a show. Like, what do you tap into first? Like, what you're mad about? Or...
Yeah, I usually start with what I'm angry about in the world. Because I always feel like even in our daily lives, we have to address the ugly parts of ourselves before we can, so that we can feel light again. And so my shows always kind of follow that. Like I start with all the stuff I'm just angry about. And then by the end of the show, it comes full circle where I've sort of dealt with that and can find some light again in my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so the show that you just did, Bitter, Bothered, and Beyond,
Yes.
which is sort of obviously inspired by the words of Bed, Bath, and Beyond.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
It was just out of the pandemic, and just really horrified with everything that's happening in the world, not just the pandemic, but so much of what's going on. And it's basically the gist of the show. If there had to be if there is a through line, and the through line is that we can all choose to look back in our lives and find those very painful moments. But what we mustn't let those moments do is stop us from looking ahead and going, pushing beyond that stuff. So, it's well, that's what the show's about.
Do you shop at Bed, Bath, and Beyond?
I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not around much anymore.
No.
I do love going out and finding bargains, and that 20 years ago I used to also go to Linens and Things. Do you remember that store?
I do.
And I had a 20% coupon for Linens and Things, and I walked in there, the one in my neighborhood, and they said this coupon expired yesterday.
Oh.
And I said, well, Bed Bath & Beyond accepts coupons that expired 3 years ago. And they said, we can't accept this coupon. And I said, I looked at the woman, I said, your store's going to close for that reason.
Yeah.
And when I drove by and saw that liquidation sale, I felt so right.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I do love being right. You know what I did want to say to you very quickly. You said something in one of your other shows about people who say no problem. And that resonated with me so much.
Yeah.
It just made me laugh. I love how you pick up on these. You sort of, I always find like you're like me in many ways about like the things that bother you.
The weirdest
and how
things.
you can actually like flesh them out and make them a moment.
Oh, I love that.
And so I that really resonated with me because I remember when people started saying, no worries. And at first I was like, that's weird. Who says no worries? And then after a while, I was the person that was like looking at these people going, I wasn't worried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really not.
I had to start saying it to people. I'm not worried. Like waiters, can I, like you said, can I get a lemon wedge with my iced tea? No worries. And I would be the one to be like, I wasn't worried.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then for some reason,
that did resonate with me.
I love that.
On a very deep
I'm
level.
glad I'm not crazy then.
No, you're not.
Because sometimes I always think, people use the phrase, oh, that person came for me. Yeah, but you sent for me, I think. I think you sent for me because, I don't think it's a big deal. I think a lot of people get bothered when they'll say something that is maybe bothersome to you, and then you repeat back to them. Did you just say X, Y, and Z? I don't know why you're coming for me. I'm repeating to you what you just said to me. So you do have a problem with it then. You do know that that's questionable.
I don't think people come for me that often, though.
No?
So, no. Now that I'm older.
Do you like Almond Roca?
I do. Is that a Spanish product?
It is. Let's see. It says product of USA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's gluten-free. I don't know if you want one now or you want one later.
No, I will not eat on camera.
But I tell you what I do
they
have
look
for you.
chewy.
I have a $1 coupon.
Oh, now we're talking.
Keep that over there.
I love a coupon.
Yeah,
Look
you
at
can
that.
you can have the whole thing there if you want.
When you buy any 2 canisters.
Oh, 2.
So it's a 50-cent really is what it is.
That's not really on sale. When something's 10% off, that's not really on sale.
That's not on sale.
I don't think so.
I need them to dig deeper.
I do too. Yeah. I got a coupon in the mail from a catalog company I ordered from, and they sent me an email, and it said, your item's delayed, and we want to offer you this coupon code for your inconvenience. And it was for 50 cents off, and I had 30 days to use it. Well, this is like $100 order of, I don't know, what do you call it? Fast fashion dresses or whatever.
Yeah.
And I thought, 50 cents? What the hell am I going to do with 50 cents? I mean, they weren't expensive dresses, but at the same time.
But still, 50 cents is
50
insulting.
Cents? Yeah, just don't say anything. Just say your order's delayed.
It's like when I get a check from like a residual check.
Oh, my God.
For the 3 cents, 27 cents. It's just.
You don't even want to deposit them.
No, it's exhausting.
Yeah. Where does your flip hairstyle come from? Is it something you've always loved?
Well, I used to have big hair when I started as Coco. It was very Anne Margaret.
I love.
And I was young and pretty, and people always said, you look like Anne Margaret. And it's like, anyway, the guy who did my hair did it for free. He was a friend.
Nice.
And I would bring my wig up to him all the time in Westchester, and I never paid him. Mm-hmm. I wasn't making. Sometimes there were nights where I would make such little money, I would have to go to my checking account, pray money would come out so I could pay my piano player.
I understand.
You know?
Okay.
And he did it for free, and then I would get out of the car, and he would see me walking towards his shop with the wig, and I would see him roll his eyes.
Oh my God!
Didn't stop me from going in with the wig,
right?
But it did get to a point where it's like, and I have no talent when it comes to makeup or hair.
I mean, I don't believe that because I've seen your wig on rollers before.
It is true. Oh, well, I mean, that's why I chose something so simple. Mm-hmm. But when I first put the flip on, I had that moment of, oh my God, this is Coco. This is it. Uh-huh. The other thing is, and I've talked about this before, but I've always been drawn from when I was a child to silhouettes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I was more interested in the shadow than what I was watching.
Okay.
The shadow that was being created. And also, Barbra Streisand was always made fun of for her nose. Mm-hmm. And then she would come out with this album with just that silhouette. Mm-hmm. I found that so empowering. Or Liza Minnelli, you always knew it was her, even when it was a silhouette.
Right.
And so I wanted to be recognized for my silhouette.
I love that. And you are. I mean, everyone knows.
Yes. And so I do believe that when people see a flip now, I have people send me pictures of that shape that they see in a noodle, in a
Oh, that's so cool.
box, everywhere, shower hooks. And so I have a whole collection of photos that people have sent me of that shape, that
Yeah.
they see Coco in everything.
Well, I don't think people realize that getting such a severe flip to be so consistent is something that has to be managed all the time because you can curl a wig and then you can sort of get it to flip up, but you kind of have to you have to tease it and then press it and do all that in order to get it. But the way you have it, there's movement to it. And I know that you have to set that and be diligent about it being on rollers and then be taken down when you're ready to wear it.
Yes.
People don't know that.
Yes. I have my little system.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. It really does.
Drag is not easy, as you know, and I find it exhausting at this age.
Yeah.
To put it all on and then having to come back to your hotel and take it all off is not fun.
Do you have like a way of getting ready? Like, do you like to be, say, in the bathroom or a place where you sit?
No, I like
people-
to sit at a desk like this.
Uh-huh.
I have my little mirror because I can't see anymore.
Oh,
And I
understand.
tried the contact lenses, and that was a disaster. I screamed at the woman that put them in, and then she said, "Would you like to try taking them out?" I said, "Get them out." Well, I was just about to curse. Can we curse on this show?
You can say whatever you want.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't curse now because I've lost the moment. But I did do a show recently where I said shitload, and they had to stop recording because shitload is a bad curse word according to some
you were on
people.
Fox News, probably.
Me and
that's
Fox
where you were.
News. Yeah, sure.
Let's take a break.
Very Delta is a proud sponsor of Almond Roca, the original butter crunch toffee. Savor the sophistication.
And we are back with the legendary. I'm going to keep saying legendary because I feel like I'm in the position where that word applies. It 100% means it applies to you, and I don't feel like it applies to that many people. Legendary isn't just somebody who's been doing something for a long time, or somebody that we talked about your silhouette, and that is legendary too. But you're legendary because you are not afraid to speak up about what needs to be spoken about.
As I said earlier, Coco was born out of this need to be an activist.
Right.
And when you're young and in your 20s and your friends are dying and you're seeing people just really get really sick, it affects you, especially when you're living in New York City at like the epicenter of it all.
Right.
And so activism has always been a part of who I am, and saying, I can't separate it from Coco. And there are people who will have the nerve to say to me in my post, stay out of politics.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
queer people, people in our own community who will say those things to me. And I just think, oh my God, you've got it backwards. I mean, change doesn't happen. And I remember a different time, and things have gotten so much better. Although lately they feel like that we're taking many steps back, and the young people are going to have to get out in the streets. I mean, I remember when gay marriage was first being talked about and marching in the streets for that, and walking past the gay bars and looking in at the gay kids looking out at us going, what are those people marching? And screaming at them out of the bars into the streets. And I feel like we're at another moment here in this country where we do have to start getting back in the streets, although my feet now are just maybe not up for it. But you younger people have got to get, definitely vote, but there's so many other things that you can be doing.
Yeah.
So activism has always been a part of that for me. And so saying how you feel, and certainly drag allows you to say a lot more than I ever would say as just myself.
Right.
I'm actually very shy as myself and a bit timid. And that's what Coco Peru gave me my voice back. I had listened to the bullies all those years. That's what I was to tell young kids. Don't waste your life listening to all of that nonsense, because that in my new show, I say your silence equals repression, and that's how they win. They want you to be repressed because that keeps you silent. And so I learned early on that silence equals death, and literally.
Yeah, literally.
Literally.
It's so scary to see when Raja and I lightly will refer. I don't know how it came up in conversation, but somebody was like, it was like a label thing, like top, bottom, this, that, and we said we're elder femmes to these to the people that were like 20 years younger than us, and because we were like, well, they're 20 years younger, that means they're old enough to be our children, so we are elder femmes to them. But there's other people that are elder femmes to us, and then maybe one day they will be. So there's this thing where we look to elders that doesn't, in my mind, mean old, just older than me or a generation around that have no problem speaking up, regardless of these other voices that are saying, don't get into politics. Like, which of course is so demeaning because it's saying, I know that you are just a clown. Like, that's what that says. It's like, you're purely for entertainment.
Stick to entertainment. They actually say that.
They say those words.
Stick to entertainment. During Black Lives Matter, when I was speaking up about that, I couldn't believe some of the hatred thrown at me by fans.
Yeah.
Saying, when you speak about this, it's upsetting. It's like, well, yeah, you should be upset.
You should be so upset.
You should be really upset.
And there's really only a handful of people that do drag that aren't afraid of it. They're not afraid to speak up or say something or just use the platform in a way. And by you doing that, it just really sets apart the difference between legendary and famous. I think that adds to it. There's people that are wonderfully famous and beautiful and do all that, and people are like, oh, I love that drag queen. You do? That's good. But how are they concerned about you, or are they not?
This is a little corny, but whenever I get caught up in the fame thing or in the Hollywood stuff of comparing myself to other people or feeling like, I didn't get that role, or I'm human, and people, you can get caught up in it when you're surrounded by it. It is my husband who will always say to me, why did you create Coco Peru? And I go, oh, that's right. Because I wanted to make the world a safer place for LGBTQ people. And as soon as I get back to that core value that I have within myself, it puts it all in perspective. And all that stuff of comparing myself to other people goes away. And so I always encourage young people to get very clear about what it is they want to really do in their lives. And I always say fame should never be the thing you go after, because if you don't achieve it, number one, you'll be disappointed. And number two, I know plenty of famous people that the fame is great, but it isn't what really adds value to their life.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What, aside from politics or what just makes you angry? What are behaviors that people do that right now, if it was today, there's something that just pisses you off?
Well, my number one thing is litter.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yes, I do.
I hate litter. In fact, I posted something today. There's that wonderful, those machines that I forget what they're called, interceptors that they place where the garbage that comes out of LA rivers or any part of the country or around the world, you just can't imagine the plastic that comes out because human beings are pigs, and it drives me crazy. But some brilliant young person invented these machines that capture all of that.
Yeah.
And, but I always make sure to post it if I see it, because it just shows you that one little piece of wrapper or whatever you threw down on the ground that then gets washed by the rain into the drain that ends up in the LA River or whatever river that ends up in the ocean. You're just one little piece of that massive sea of plastic. And I just wish people could treat the earth as the living thing that it is.
Isn't it interesting how
no wonder we're so ill.
Yeah,
it's a
truly.
reflection of the mental illness that we have, the way we just can treat not only Mother Earth, but each other.
And it's interesting how many quote unquote people that are proud Americans constantly say like, "Oh, look at our beautiful country. Look at our beautiful."
And then they're the first to toss it out.
You're looking at a picture of Yosemite. But what about, you don't think the rest of the world, the rest of the country itself, as an American, deserves your American attention so that everything can be as beautiful, the oceans, all of it,
Yes.
And this fear that like, well, none of this is my responsibility. It's too big. It's too big.
Yeah.
And they don't even take that in consideration. They don't even use that argument. They just say like, it's not real.
Yeah.
None of this is real.
And it is the reason why I had to start taking Lexapro a few years ago, because I would have such a terrible reaction that my husband was often like, "You're going to get shot," because I would confront people.
Right.
And my feelings were so overwhelming about this kind of stuff because I feel everything too intensely, whether it's joy, whether it's all over the place. So my husband finally said, "You need to be on pills because you're driving me crazy." So I take 5 milligrams of Lexapro every day just to bring it down a notch. So I can still have the reaction, but I can no longer let it destroy me. And it was. So anyway, there's my whatever.
Oh,
my
I think,
illness.
listen, I think I'm overdue for a doctor visit and 5 milligrams because my partner says the same thing.
Yes.
He's like, you're overreacting about something that, and I'm like, no, I think you're underreacting.
Well, that was it. I said to my doctor, they were talked about my rage. And I said, well, I have to tell you, I'm a little bit outraged that not everyone is as outraged as I am. But I do have to survive in a world that's not perfect.
Right. Oops.
So
right, and I get that. I mean, but I think maybe I need to go have a little visit because I blow up about everything.
Yeah. 5 milligrams. Start with
5.
that. And edibles help too. I will say that as well.
Is that marijuana?
Yes.
Okay.
I discovered those during I've in the past, dabbled, but never. But during the pandemic, I decided to try edibles as a way to cope. And they're wonderful.
Mother is a hippie junkie.
Yes.
She's on drugs. She's on
At
Quaaludes.
57 years old.
She's on all of it.
Yes. And the other interesting thing, and I don't know why I just thought of this, but on the way over here, I was stopped at a red light, and there was this beautiful dog here, one black eye, one blue eye, and he's looking out. And here I am in full drag. And if anytime I see a dog, I have to pay attention to them. So like an idiot, I'm from the car, like waving at the dog and trying to get its attention. And she or he is looking at me. And I just, he was curious. And I thought, look at this dog that has no judgment. Or like the dog that was outside earlier. No judgment, just full of love.
Yeah.
And I thought dogs are incredible. And
Oh my
here we are in
gosh.
this country where drag bills and anti-trans bills. And I just thought, why can't we all just be more like dogs?
And again, people who identify as proud Americans, always with a picture with a dog. And it's
Right.
like all of these lessons are around you on how we can maintain everything beautiful. Everyone can get a piece of the pie.
Yes.
Everybody can get a fair shake. Everybody can be equally have their medicine delivered to them. And you're still looking for a reason for that not to be possible.
Exactly. And I think that's what you just said is you hit the nail on the head for me, is that we're surrounded by signs, and I see those signs all the time, like that dog. I'm constantly reminded of how we can treat each other and what the world can be. And I guess that's where my rage and bitter bothered comes from. But then, Delta, we got to get beyond it.
We do. We do. But
And if 5 milligrams of Lexapro
5
does the
milligrams
trick, and a can of Almond Roca after an edible,
right.
honey, I'm all for it.
Well, Raja's always telling me about the edibles, and she's like, she tried to get her mom on them, and then, generationally, some people are like, no. My mom,
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, my mom and my dad, they had a bong in the house.
Oh,
they
really? No,
they
not-
were very
Yeah,
hippy
not my
dippy,
parents. Yeah.
and they. But they were all. My mom was always like, "Yeah, that needs to be put away. He shouldn't be seeing that." And
Oh.
it was always that storyline. So, but yeah, my mom's hippie anyway.
I agree.
Right.
And I just, I'd rather be around people that are a little bit high than people who are drunk. I
Yeah.
can't stand drunks.
Yeah.
Especially at my show.
Do they get messy?
No, not usually. People who usually come to see my shows know what kind of show I do and that you really have to pay attention. But every once in a while, someone has way too many.
Do you get people that try to heckle or try to join the thing and you're like, this is not a conversation?
Oh, yes.
How do you
every
deal
now
with
and
that?
then. I shut them down. Now, if they're drunk, it's a little harder.
Right.
And I will every now and then say, one of us is leaving. I'll let the audience decide who should leave.
Right.
And then, of course, everybody turns on that person.
Right.
And I hate having to do that.
Right.
It's not fun.
Well, they put you in
But,
that position.
yeah.
Like you'd never invite yourself
Yeah.
into that ever.
One time I was in Boston and I sang "Ring Them Bells," and in the cabaret worlds, when anybody would sing that, people would get at their keychains and ring them bells, and everybody would shake their keychains. So I had the whole audience, and some queen took his keychains, a huge set of keys, and threw them at me, and it whizzed past my face.
Oh my God.
And it really would have hurt had it hit me, but he was
Yeah.
really drunk. And so I took those keys and I held on to them all night.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, he was begging the managers to get the keys for me. And I was like, nope, he'll have to wait until I'm ready to give them back.
Yeah.
So, no, people are crazy. But for the most part, I have great fans of all different ages. YouTube changed my life as far as attracting a younger audience. And
Were you on 5 milligrams when he threw that, or was that before that?
I think I was no, that may have been before that.
It may have been. Well, I was
Yeah.
thinking if it was before, you might have thrown them into the dumpster and had him fish them out.
I did have a moment where I thought he's not getting the keys back
Right,
at all.
right. That's
Yeah.
why I need the 5
Yeah,
because
I did want to.
I would not get them back to that number.
But, my mom, who's 96, by the way, she did teach me very early on, never hold grudges and never respond in the moment.
I need to learn that one too.
Yeah. So you have to give it a moment. Don't respond because you're going to regret the blow,
Why did you wait till I was this old to teach me this? I should have
You're
known
still
this.
young, sweetheart.
I should know this. I can't. I get so bugged.
I
I'm like,
know,
why
but
is it so hard?
I do love that about you. That's why I think that's, there's many reasons I love you, but one of the reasons I always enjoy you so much is because you make me feel less alone in my sort of
I love that. Thank
madness.
You.
And
See, and that's how I feel with you.
yeah.
There's things that you obsessed when you, I don't want to say, I say obsessed because I heard other people say it.
I do obsess.
But I heard other people say it and I didn't think it was an obsession. I thought it was information. And that was about the Panettone. I feel like some people were like, oh my gosh, look she's obsessing. I'm like, what do you mean? She's informing. This is first of all, this is what I believe a wonderful gift. And I think that I could eat it all year long.
Oh, I
really
love Panettone.
And I was like, this is and a lot of people thought, it's entertainment, and it is. But I was more informed. And I was like, this is vital information. This is information. This isn't a funny.
Well, what's funny is that suddenly Panettones are everywhere.
Everywhere. Little ones, big ones.
And people talk about the Panettone this and the Panettone festival and how to make a good Panettone dessert. And I just think, I think I had a little something to do with that.
I believe it. I believe it. Do you like raisins?
I love raisins.
See, I love raisins. Have you ever
I
had
will eat raisins right out of that sun-made thing. And then you get to a certain point of eating them where you realize, I've eaten way too many raisins, and I never want to look at another raisin ever again. I threw up on raisins once. I'll just put that out there.
Yeah. And the thing is, and there's going to be a problem in a few hours because they can do its own thing.
They can go right through you.
It can do its own thing.
But see, I love prunes.
I love prunes
a good prune.
too. A prune Danish. Is so good.
Honey.
I love coffee cakes and stuff like that. That's my favorite.
God,
you know what I mean?
Too. Anything dry.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
I love dry.
I want it with coffee. I want it with tea.
Yes, I like to dunk. My father used to
Exactly.
drink. We used to get buttered rolls in the Bronx. You can't find them anywhere. And you would they would butter them for you, and then you dunk that in coffee, and then
that's
you
so
look at
good.
your coffee. It has that slick of oil on top.
That's
Delicious.
beautiful. That is so good. Gosh, I want to eat that. Have you ever had a candy bar that you can get at the liquor store called Chunky?
The square.
And it's got
that's
peanuts.
from the 70s.
It's got peanuts and raisins.
And it's in like 4 things, right? Yeah, that's from the 70s,
It's
darling.
so good.
My father used to send me up the street every day to buy him a pack of cigarettes. Kent Golden Lights. I still remember. 75 cents. He would give me $1, and with the extra quarter, I could buy a candy bar.
I love that deal.
Chunkies. I often would get a Chunky. Charleston Chew.
I love Charleston. Did you ever get a Chico stick?
I don't know what a Chico stick is.
It's like a peanut butter stick with coconut on the outside.
Never heard of it.
A Look Bar?
Never heard of it.
You never had a Look Bar?
No.
Okay, what about
Well, these might be West Coast things. We had
Fifth
different
Avenue?
things. Fifth Avenue I loved.
God.
Milky Way I loved. Three Musketeers.
Wait, a Milky Way and a Three Musketeers? There's nothing in that but nougat. That's all.
I was a chocoholic as a kid.
You
I
like
didn't
it.
care. I had so many cavities.
You know what you might like? If you go to C's Candy, you would like a rum nougat. It's what it's called.
Yes.
And it's got like a little tiny bit of cherry in it, but it's got nougat and it's got chocolate and it's got like walnuts in it.
Oh, I'm allergic to walnuts.
Oh, you
lost
can't
me
eat it
right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're
Well, we'll
trying
have
to
get
kill
it
me,
for-
Delta.
I am. You can get a Rocky Road then.
A Rocky Road.
They have a Rocky
The
Road.
thing is that I'm not big on sweets. I'm more into salt. So if chocolate has salt on it. Now, Bianca just gave me some, Bianca Del Rio just gave me some vegan cookies she made that was chocolate, but she
Ooh.
put salt on top. Delicious.
Yeah, that really wakes it up, I
That's
think, when you do that.
delicious.
Do you like
Anyway.
popcorn?
Yes, I love popcorn and I love kettle corn.
Kettle corn is good. This Target by my house used to have one of the little old-timey, like a snack bar. And they always had regular popcorn and kettle corn. And they would have a big bag like this for $1.75.
Yeah.
And you would get it while you shopped. And it was only recently that they got rid of that whole area to do the online shopping that they take out to the cars, which I get.
They did that at
but
my Target too, by the way, in North Hollywood.
Do you do online where you go drive up and they bring the stuff out to the car?
No. I like to walk around.
Me too.
I like to walk around. Sometimes I'll actually tell my husband, you know what, don't come with me today because he likes to rush through. I like to meander. In fact, I love that word, meander.
I love that word.
So I like to meander. Don't rush me through a store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My partner knows that about me too. My partner Davey, he will know that like if I'm not here doing something or I'm not at a show, he's like, you're getting restless.
Yeah.
You're getting restless.
Yeah.
And he'll always say, why don't you do a wig? Or why don't you, why don't you make some jewelry or do something that makes you happy? And I'll say, he's like, you know what? You want to go to Ross.
Yeah.
Why don't you just go? Just go. And I'll go. And I'm like,
Yes.
well, don't you want to go with me? No, I'm sewing. No, you just go do it and you can come.
Yes.
And it'll be like 9 o'clock at night.
Give me racks to dig through.
And I don't
I'm in
even need
heaven.
anything.
No. I want to find a deal. It's all
Yeah.
about the deal.
Yeah.
The only thing I can't do
Okay.
is I can't shop like in the garment district where I ran into you that day.
Uh-huh.
Now tell me if you can do this. How much is this a yard? They tell you how much a yard is. Do you try and say, no, can you bring it down a little bit? Or do you just give them
because I go so much, I won't ask anybody. I won't bargain with anybody.
Oh, I can't bargain either.
I won't do
I'm
it.
a terrible bargainer.
I won't do it. And I definitely would never bargain with.
Oh, they're giving us the red line.
They do it.
Yeah. It's
I
like-
definitely wouldn't bargain with somebody selling like their personal wares. You know, if somebody's like, oh, I made these necklaces, whatever the price is, that's the price.
Yeah.
I can't.
I had a yard sale. I love yard sales. I had a yard sale. This woman shows up just as we're closing the yard sale down. I know we have to wrap it up, but I had two homemade lamps that had been left in the house from the people that we bought it from. And I wanted to sell them. It was the end of the day. And the woman says, how much for these lamps? I yell into my husband, how much do we want for these lamps? $10 each.
Okay.
So I said, $10. She says, for both of them. Oh, no, I said $6 each. And she said, no, $6 for both of them. And I held them. I said, I would rather take these lamps and smash them on the cement
Absolutely.
than give them to you for $6
Absolutely.
each. And she turned around and she got in her Mercedes-Benz and drove off. So, yeah, I don't like to do that to people because I don't like it being done to me.
Yeah, I don't
I'd
wanna
rather
do that.
smash the lamps than give you the deal.
Well, I mean, this is just like if somebody asks you to do some sort of gig or something, and then you tell them what the price is, and they ask you, can you do it for, a third of that? And you're like,
Or for free.
Get out of here. Let's take a break. Oh my God.
Do you want to? Read me, Delta. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. This is the portion of the podcast talk show. I always feel pretentious saying like the talk show.
Well,
But it is. We're talking and it's a show.
It's a show and we're talking.
We're talking. Right.
The bullshitting.
Yes, basically. This is where we read letters. People send in letters. This is, and if you want to write a letter in, send it to readmedelta@gmail.com. Any questions about stuff you've already seen on here, or maybe you need some advice that whoever is here would be happy to answer. Let's see what we have.
You like
here.
my husband with the letter opener.
I love it.
He only opens things with the letter opener.
I love
and he gets so mad at me because I tear things open.
Really?
He gets so mad at me.
Well, sometimes I forget, and then I forget to bring it, so I have to use a makeup brush. And then sometimes I go too far in, and it tears the letter.
Oh, you just did it.
I just did it. But it's only that's the yucky part anyway. Okay. Dear Delta and fabulous guests, why do people watch cop propaganda rape shows like SVU and CSI before bed? That can't be good for your head. I love watching your talk show and podcast when it premieres a day early on Mom Plus. Thanks, Shoba.
Wow.
Do you watch any kind of shows like that?
No, I don't.
You don't like that?
Well, but I do watch true crime things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because there was at one point where we were watching a little too much true crime.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband and I was sitting on the couch. And at the exact same moment, we looked at each other and go, are you creeped out? Like, are we watching too much true crime?
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to back off of it for a little while.
Really?
Yeah. But I love documentaries. Yeah.
The best.
Yeah.
The best.
Documentaries for me, I just love getting into people's lives. But, those other shows that they mention, I'm sure they're good, but it's not my thing. Unless I'm getting paid to be on them. Then it's amazing.
Then it's my thing.
Yeah, then it's my thing.
Been my thing forever.
Years ago, I did an episode of New York Undercover.
Okay.
And I could really tell you some funny stories about it. But the one thing was I had finished filming.
Okay.
And they called me and said, your character gets murdered and we need to film you. You have to come in for a day and you have to be in a body bag.
Oh my God.
But it's only going to be like 30 seconds. And I said, do I get paid a whole like SAG day for those 30 seconds? And they said, oh, absolutely. I said, I have no problem being in a body bag. You know, I was broke back then. And so I think if I remember correctly, when they zip me up, I have a smile on my face because I'm just thinking about I'm getting paid good money to lay here dead.
That is so funny.
Yeah. And the other moment that I'm really proud about that New York Undercover was there was a scene where after I'm look like Coco Peru and carrying on like Coco Peru, where my character was supposed to say, I'm straight. And I said, that's a different thing. I'm a drag queen. You might be talking about court. They were like, we did our research. I was like, you did your research, but it's not correct.
Right.
And I'm not, as a openly gay man and carrying on like gonna now say I'm straight. If kids are, so I stopped production.
Wow.
And refused to work until they rewrote that line. Now, it was filmed in New York, so they had to wait for Los Angeles to wake up and for those writers to come in before they could change it.
Is that really how all that works?
Yes, and I was very proud because there were drag people and trans people on set who came up to me and thanked me and said, girl, that was we can't believe you had the guts to do that.
That's epic.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's legendary status. I mean, at the time you were speaking up for yourself and what you thought, but
yes, but I it's almost like I look back on those moments sometimes when I've been like that and I think, who did I think I was back then? But
you knew who you were. That's the thing. That's what's exciting when people hear this. They can realize like there are things to speak up for, and when we really have to understand, there's a big war And there's a lot of little battles. And we really do spend our lives trying to pick and choose these battles. But some people, it's like, you're on the wrong thing.
Yes.
You're on the wrong thing.
Yes.
It's so
I
much
address a little
worse.
bit of that in my
Really?
new show.
Okay.
About some of the, yes, exactly
Yeah.
that.
There's so
Yeah.
much of that. I actually love these kinds of shows. I always wanted to be in like do like TV show appearances in drag, or where they're like, we need a drag queen for this. And I always wanted to do that, but I never really knew how to do that. So I just never did. One time I got to do something, and it was with Willem. And I don't know if you are familiar. He lives in Palm Springs. Kevin Wiley, who is a Dolly Parton and Reba McEntire
Yes,
impersonator.
I know Kevin.
You know Kevin.
Mhm.
Kevin did it. Venus Delight. This was before Drag Race. And Chad Michaels. And it was a show called Women's Murder Club. And we did an episode of that. And Chad was more the main role, along with Willem. Willem was the show host. Chad was supposed to be the star of the show. So they did mock-up pictures of like whatever her name, Dakota Michaels, or, that kind of a thing. And me and Venus and Kevin were all teamed up with like male counterparts that were supposed to be our dates at the cabaret show. And somehow I knew like they were going to team me up with like the older guy that looked like, hey, I got the money. Like he had a clip like this. And so that was the guy I was with. And then the other two were with like young 20-something guys. And I was like, whatever, I'm fine with it. I actually liked that storyline. But I remember Willem saying, like, at that time, because she had already done a lot of stuff like that, and was saying, like, if there's water involved, that changes the price. And if this is involved, and if you don't take your break, and she was so well versed in that, but would share that information with people that didn't know.
Yeah.
And that's how you kind of learn. And in fact, I remember Chad, when you say the body bag, Chad's character had to have her face shoved in a toilet. And she was murdered that way, and they needed to shave her head. So she got paid extra to have all her hair shaved off.
Wow.
It's so interesting that you say that. I'm pointing this knife at you like I'm mad or something. All these shows have to be bad for, I think I agree. They are bad, but there's worse things going on.
What's that? Another letter?
This is another letter in a Luar purse. Mark put it in there.
So cute.
Isn't that neat? Mark did that. Okay, let's hope I don't rip anything here.
Oh, let's hope you do.
I'm really, I have several letter openers. I like letter openers. I think they're fun. Oh. Okay, let's see. This looks like a short one, and that can be good. Hi Delta, what animal videos are you watching on your phone? I liked an emu named Emmanuel who misbehaves.
Yes.
Love very wook. You know that one?
I know the emu.
Tell me. I don't.
Oh, he just the woman that owns or works with these emus, so she's trying always to make a video, and the emu keeps getting into the camera.
Oh, I do know.
Yeah,
yes, I do. On TikTok, I see them.
Yes. I love animal videos.
Same. All day long.
Yeah. I'm constantly sending kitty cat videos to Heclina.
Oh my gosh.
Like that's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the really awful stuff that we send.
Those
back and
two,
forth
there's a
to
balance.
Yeah. But cute cat videos, I love dog videos. Then I send the dog videos to like Bianca and some other friends that, like dogs.
Yeah.
I happen to have grown up with both cats and dogs, so I don't really have a preference.
Yeah. I grew up a little bit. We did have dogs for a while in San Diego, but pretty exclusively now for, 30 years, I've always had cats. And I love my cats.
We had 3 white identical cats. They were brothers and sisters. And the first one was named Pete. The second one was named Repeat. And the third one was named Stillmore.
Stop it. Stop it.
The Bronx.
I love that. I love that. I also like these videos. There's an account on Instagram, Nicolette Carlone, and she just is, I guess, a purveyor of beautiful things, and also has a storefront where you can order like vintagey replicas. And she always like posts during a day like beautiful cakes that look like pieces of art. But one thing she always posts are these videos of like little bunnies eating strawberries.
Oh, yeah.
In the wilderness, or like little chickadees like drinking water. I love videos like they're so gentle.
I do too.
And it's so weird because I will be awful and watch a full car crash, and then I'll swipe up and I'm like, oh my God, can you believe that? And then I swipe up and I'm like, look at the bunny. I think this is conditioning us in a way.
Oh, for sure.
For sure, right?
Yeah.
But going back to those videos, I saw one just the other day, and it was 3 cats, maybe 4 cats, looking up at a tree, and they were all, maybe there was a bird or something, and they laid over it this like a Latin prayer, so it sounded like they were like summoning something.
Yeah.
I love shit like that.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's so hard. It just makes you feel so good.
Animals are incredible. I had a cat. No, I didn't have this cat, but a cat died in my front yard.
Oh.
And I was devastated. And when I went and got my husband. And then when we came back, there was another cat that sat by it for hours until the city would come pick that up. Isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
He like just sat there so patiently for his friend. It broke my heart.
Yeah,
Anyway,
absolutely.
5 milligrams. That's all I have to say.
And that's what I need. I think I need 10 because I think that's based on weight.
Most people, that's true. I heard that recently.
So I'm going to need like 30.
A neighbor of mine was like on 40 or something like that. And I said, what do you need that much? He goes, because I'm a big boy.
Oh, so he needed 40.
So he needed a lot more than me.
Oh God, how much is 100 milligrams going to be? Because I think I really
No,
could bite it in half and then half later.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe, I don't know. I think it works. Is it causing you to edit yourself, you think?
No.
No, that's good.
No.
I don't want you to edit yourself
No,
ever.
it didn't change me at all.
Yeah.
No.
It just like delays the reaction a little bit?
No, not so much the reaction. I just don't obsess so much. And I also don't go to the dark place.
Okay.
Where that obsession spirals into just feeling dark about the world is ending and people don't care about other people, and those dark thoughts would take over.
Right.
And which would then lead to sort of a depression or, I don't want to say a depression for people who really suffer depression, but I could go to a dark place.
Right.
And it could last for days.
Right.
I'm
wearing the earrings that you gave me. I don't know if you see that, but they go with my necklace.
I'm happy.
Yeah, I had this.
I did a little cleaning up of my Coco stuff, and I got all those dresses I bought at Ross and one. I've just literally everything's now in my garage in bags. Probably going to donate most of it.
Yeah.
And I dug through some of my jewelry, and I thought of you. I said, I'm going to give this to you today.
They're perfect. I mean, and I have to tell you something that you had no idea about this. I was like, I really want to wear this necklace, and because I like this dress, although it's moving around weird. I think I'm wearing the wrong bra, but I wanted to wear. I felt like it coordinated, and I said, I don't have an earring that's like irreverent enough to go with this because this has no exact storyline.
Right.
It's not overtly feminine. It's not really vintagey. It's kind of like a artsy sort of piece. And then when you were like, oh, I have these I thought, oh my gosh, I didn't know what I was going to do for an earring. I thought I could just fix my hair so no one saw it. But now that they're there, I'm like, I have to wear this all the time.
That's great.
I love it. I love it
That's
so
great.
much.
That's the magic of drag.
It is.
And that's what the other thing I always tell young people is that don't overthink stuff so much. Like the magic is in just doing it and trusting that it will. That was my process for creating Coco. Was that I just threw myself into it and trusted that it was all going to work out. And so sometimes when you do that, those little magical moments happen.
Right.
Like, hey, I'm just going to throw on this necklace, and then the earrings appeared.
And I think what's beautiful about that is like it's in a literal sense, yes, it worked. But in a figurative sense, if you take that with you and realize that, this can be applied as a philosophy all the way across the board.
Yes. And that's what people, I think, learn from drag is that rather than living in what society says you should be, drag queens who are so courageous and have lived through lots of stuff to get to that point where they cross over into that realm of drag and that freedom and that liberation. And we learned something very valuable that you can apply to everyday life, is that you chose to be Delta. You chose to create Delta. And in creating Delta, you're living in that moment. And that's something we should do every day of our lives.
Right.
We get to create our experience here on Earth it's not who you were, how, who the stories, living inside that box is so boring. It's when you step outside of the box where the magic starts to happen.
Right.
So even I tell, that's why some of the housewives that are married and they did what was expected of them often will say, I wish I had seen your show years ago. And they're happy and whatnot, but they realize that we have choices every day that we get to make to create our lives.
Yeah. This is mothering. This is mothering. Like this is really, and I have so many contemporaries from Drag Race that all always say like the panel of Drag Race would benefit so greatly from people like Coco Peru and Jackie Beat and Varla Jean Merman and Sherry Vine and all Lady Bunny being on the panel, judging and mentoring, because they have been walking in these shoes for a very long time and have been working for free and paying piano players out of checking accounts and have been there and done that. And in this way can mentor and say, I see what you're doing because I was there before.
Yeah.
I know what you want because I can tell by the way that you're behaving. It's a way that I behaved before. And could offer that advice. And we all always say like, why are the legends? Like we need the legends on the panel too, to come up and say, here's my advice. You want some advice? I know, because I actually do drag and I've been doing drag. I do one woman shows. I did bar. You know what I mean?
I do think there is value in hearing from people who have done it before. And unfortunately, I didn't have that when I was young.
Right.
I didn't have a mentor.
Right.
I did have Charles Bush that inspired me, and Charles was available to ask questions and whatnot. But I didn't have the guidance. I learned it as I went along. What I would encourage people, young queens, to do is show up on time, actually show up 15 minutes earlier than your call time. Keep a neat dressing room, right?
Yes.
Treat everybody with respect, even the tech people, because they're the ones that are going to make you look great. And it's just the right thing to do.
Sure.
And work on your craft.
100 million%. I mean, really, it shouldn't be that hard just to be nice. You know, you don't have to kiss anyone's ass, but you definitely, although sometimes it doesn't hurt.
No.
It doesn't hurt, especially if they are the ones that are lighting you or I'll kiss their ass.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
Or if they're the person that's like, we're not supposed to ask you if you want a Starbucks run, but we'll include you. Well, get over here. Let me kiss your ass. I would love something. I would love an iced beverage.
Yes.
That sounds great. Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. We have been trying to do this for so long.
I know.
And our schedules were always wacky. And so I'm so happy that it finally happens.
Thank you.
I do appreciate you.
Thank you. It makes me feel great. I mean, honestly, you are the name that people constantly in comments or in direct messages are like, when are you going to get Coco Peru? Have you even tried to get Coco Peru? Like
She tried.
People really, the world loves you as they should. But I mean, I think it's great when it's really young people that are like, I want to hear of a voice that.
Yes, I love young people.
Yeah.
And I feel like people write to me saying, can I call you mom and can I call you grandma and whatnot? And I go, yes. I feel comfortable now at 57 years of age. Right. And I learn from young people.
Yeah.
So if they can learn from me, that's great. But I'm interested in young people and what I can learn from them as well.
100%. Thank you all so much for listening to Very Delta. You can search for Very Delta on your podcast apps. We come out every Monday, and we want you to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Also, a special hello to everyone watching the talk show on YouTube. We love you so much. Thank you so much for sharing the clips, commenting, sending your questions in. All of that keeps the podcast going, and it means the world to us. So keep doing that. Also, send your questions to readmedelta@gmail.com. Questions about this episode, previous episodes, or I don't know, maybe people's manners. We love questions like that, don't you?
About judging people's manners?
Judging people's manners.
Oh, yes. I can't stand
Advising
being
them.
in public sometimes.
I know, it's gross.
I mean, I'm the worst person on an airplane nowadays.
Are you?
Well, no, I'm the best person. You want to sit next
Right.
to me. But I'm the one that's, one time that I had to, I know you're wrapping it up, but
No.
I had these two people behind me talking on an international flight.
Uh-huh.
They shut the lights off. You've already, it's time to sleep.
Yeah, it's time.
You know what I mean? And my husband could tell that I was getting worked up. He said, promise me you're not going to say anything. And I said, okay, I promise I won't say anything to these two people behind us yakking away. And after about 10 minutes, I took out my notebook and I wrote, shut up.
Oh my God.
And I held it over my head. Of course, my husband was horrified. I said, I didn't say it.
But you got the message
But I got
across.
the message
Yeah,
across.
you have to sometimes.
Yeah, I'm that person.
I can't see. This is the thing: is I would never be mad at that because I think it's
You would love me on an airplane.
Oh, I mean, I love you everywhere. But here's the question: when you are on the airplane, what's your beverage?
I either have just plain water or a nice soda water. They serve some like flavored
Yeah.
soda waters.
Those are good.
Yeah.
Those are
I
good.
don't
like
like to,
those.
at my age, you don't want to get too gassy on an airplane.
Do you follow passenger shaming on Instagram?
What?
It's a full account called Passenger Shaming, and it's all flight attendants and pilots and gate agents that talk about, look at this picture, look at this
Oh,
one.
you may have just changed my life.
It's everything, and they go in. They always respect, like they don't show someone's face
Space.
or anything or
Yes,
any pertinent
yes,
like.
yeah, yeah.
But it's always like, look at these feet just up on a table.
Oh, yeah.
Look
yeah.
at this.
Yeah.
That gross.
Disgusting.
You can follow me on Instagram, Delta Work on Instagram. Where can people find you?
CocoPeru.com. All the social medias. I'm
Yeah.
out there. Yeah.
They can find you there. You can also follow the show on Instagram and TikTok at Very Delta to get dedicated socials, because if you're not following us there, you're really only getting 50% of the Delta. Join me next week right here for another episode of Very Delta. And until then, keep things very, 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 very
Delta. On the next Very Delta, it's Cody Rigsby.
Very Delta is for.
Uh-huh.
I feel like Very Delta is for the woman who asks for butter when bread is being served with olive oil.
You have no idea how succinct that is.
This episode of Very Delta was brought to you by Orange Diamond, the official emoji of the Very Delta show.
To listen to Very Delta one day early and ad-free, sign up for Mom Plus at mompodcasts.plus. Very Delta is produced by Moguls of Media, aka Mom. Hosted by Delta Work and produced by Mark Jacobs. Engineered by Margot Padilla and editing by Doug Robertson. Executive produced by Willem Belli, Alaska Thunderfuck, Big Dipper, and Joe Cilio.